So apparently I have 200 subscribers off some really poor content, but people seem to like it. So I guess I'll make some more videos. I have kind of a boring one today. Maybe interesting, I don't know yet. I'm gonna be taking apart a bone stock M54b30 that I was running 20 pounds in, sometimes over 20 pounds by accident. And it ran fine when I pulled it. I pulled it from my built engine. It ran fine, but anything after like 18 PSI, it was starting to pressurize the cooling system, but anything under that, it would seal. The head gasket would seal. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this thing apart, and we're gonna see how the rods look, bearings look. We're gonna see how the ring lands look. That's the main thing here. That's probably the only visual we're gonna get if there's any damage. We're probably not gonna be able to tell another stuff. I'm pretty sure the head gasket visually is going to be fine. So here it is. This is the M54b30. It had 80,000 miles on it when I bought it to put it in my car, which is kind of sad because I bought it knowing I was probably going to send her home. And I kind of did, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and tear it apart, and we're going to see what it looks like in here. So I got the head off, and visually, pistons, everything looks all right. Nothing like crazy. I didn't expect anything to be crazy. Head gasket looks fine. Nothing obvious between them, which the head gasket shouldn't have an issue with 20 PSI. It would have been the head bolts, which they all came out fine. I'm sure they're stretched, but we won't be able to tell. I'll go ahead and flip this thing over, take the pan off, and check out these bearings and check out these rods, and we'll get a better look at our ring lands, which are what I'm most worried about. And obviously, the head's fine. Head's fine. Like I said, this thing ran fine. So here's the bottom of the head. I expected this area to be fine. I guess you could just torch the crap out of valves and stuff, but it doesn't look too bad. No cracks in the head or anything. Nothing scary. All right, so all the pistons are out and rods. Crank, well, it's fine. There's nothing major on the crank. So I do plan on building this engine, and I have another engine sitting over there on the floor. It's good, it just needs oil rings. But crank's obviously fine. I'm not even gonna bother taking the crank out of this. I'm actually keeping it in there. So here's our pistons. I'm really expecting cracked ring lands. I don't really know. I haven't actually inspected them yet. This is the first time I'm looking at them. Also, I did look at some of the bearings on the rods when I took the rods and pistons out, and the bearings look all right. Obviously, there's some wear in them. It ended up probably having 100,000 miles on it when I pulled it. I started my ownership with this engine at 80, like I said. So here's our number one piston. I've seen these ring lands cracked before where they chunk. Like, it's really obvious if they're cracked. Wow. It's not cracked. Bearings. They're not too bad. They look like they have had some stuff run through them. Nothing too bad. Cylinder 2 piston. This engine did not live a nice life, like, at all, so. Bearings. A little discoloration. And they've definitely had stuff run through them. Didn't have rod knock or anything, but. Cylinder 3, piston 3, I mean. I'm shaking a little bit, probably because it's like 20 degrees in here. I don't have any propane right now to light my heater, so sorry. Fine, and I don't have like bent rods or anything. Some discoloration there, nothing crazy. Well, there's definitely some scratches on the bearings. It's not a big deal. Those are cheap. Piston 4. Oh, I'm starting to shake like crazy. It is freezing out here, man. I just really wanted to make this video today because I was expecting cracked ring lines for sure because it's really common on M54s. Also, depends a lot on your tuner, the racing tuning plug. There. These ring lines are fine. Like, I'm kind of learning here, like, it's totally fine to run 20 pounds if your tune is worth a damn. So, cylinder 6, piston 6. A little dirty for me setting them on this toolbox, but. So there are no obvious cracks on all these, and then bearings look like the rest. Man, the bearings don't look great. I don't know if that was during my ownership or before me, but all 6 pistons are fine. I've actually pulled apart one engine before that it didn't even see 20 pounds and it had cracked ring lines. So this is huge. As long as you have a good tuner, good tune, you can run 20 pounds. I would recommend running racewear studs, but I strongly believe you can run 20 pounds on this setup. Your only other issue that you're gonna have, might not really depend on the tune as much, is your ring gap. If you do plan on doing this and using stock pistons, you may want to fix your ring gap, make a bigger gap on your stock rings. So yeah, that's that. I'll flip this engine over here and we'll look at the cylinders. I'm sure they're fine. I hope, because I do plan on using this engine for a mild build for a different car. You can't really see. I don't have light over here really. There is no obvious damage on these. I mean, they look fine. This engine is in good shape. It definitely probably could use new rod bearings, though. I don't like the looks of those. So yeah, that is that. Can you run 20 PSI on a bone stock V30? Absolutely. Should you? Probably not, unless you're me and you're an idiot and you do plan on, you know, putting a different engine in the car. I'm mind blown that these ring lines survived, though. That is awesome. That is huge. So I'd say keep these engines around 18 PSI on E85, and you may survive. Your ring lines may survive. I'm not saying they're going to, but I think that your head, yeah, you're gonna seal depending on your engine. Like I said, depending on your engine. Your engine could be clapped, and don't run 18 PSI and come after me. If you want to be safe, though, run 14 PSI or 15 PSI on E85, and you may never have an issue at all. But I'm an idiot. So there you go. There you have it, guys. A little bit of a longer video, but now you know what 20 PSI looks like.